everybody? Welcome to the Comic Game Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I'm here to talk about a topic that's actually been talked about for quite a while now, but it kind of reared its head the other day. I'm recording this on a Tuesday. I believe it's the 10th of August, I believe. Yes, the 10th of August. Yesterday, on the Monday, there was a big thing that kind of blew up, and a big conversation that kind of blew up out of it about the fact that reportedly, by, I believe, Deadline, it's one of the bigger companies, reportedly, Marvel Studios, for the comic book creators from Marvel, you know, the Ed Brubakers, the people like that, like, maybe not Ed Brubaker, but for people like that who create comic books, you know, like Jim Sterling, the creator of Thanos, things like that, obviously Hickman and things like that. Like, from the people who create the stuff, the Marvel comics themselves, the idea of certain characters, those people get paid when a character blows up, or they're going to the mirror, when a character finally blows up. The creator gets paid $5,000 and has an invitation to the premiere. That's apparently Marvel's model for creators, people who created Marvel characters and stuff. Is you get $5,000 and you get an invitation to the premiere. Now, that was revealed, reportedly. We really don't know. This is just reportedly. And it blew up Twitter. It blew up the conversation. Even John Campea was talking about it. It blew up. And even the Dinner Nerds was talking about it. The idea that, and like everyone was getting really upset, really angry about it. There was a lot of talking going on. About, you know, about how Marvel and / Disney are screwing these creators, how these creators are not getting their due, how these creators are missing out on millions of dollars that probably they should have come their way, how they deserve this, how this has to be remedied, how dare they. And in my mind, like I said, John Campea was talking about it earlier today. In my mind, like, I don't want to bring up Campea just because he brought up, he's the only one I've seen who actually mentioned the exact thing that I was thinking in my head, which is Disney / Marvel doesn't owe these creators a damn thing. Now, don't get me wrong. Guys like Jim Sterling and guys like Ed Brubaker, the creator of the Winter Soldier, like, guys like that, people like, the person, I always forget her name. She helped kind of relaunch Captain Marvel, and she actually appeared in Captain Marvel. Guys like Matt Fraction, you know, like Ed Brubaker, and guys like Hickman and stuff like that. Like those guys deserve shout outs when, you know, their stuff gets put in it, and they do. Like, it's, you know, Ed Brubaker was in the movie. He's credited in the movie. You know, when Captain America came, like, every Marvel movie has Stan Lee and Jack Kirby credited in the movie. If you had something to do with certain characters, you are usually credited in the movie. You're credited. Sometimes you even appear in it. So it's not like this. It's not like they don't pay respects to these creators. It's just they're not going to pay these creators millions of dollars for an IP, for an idea that they own. Understand this. When all these creators, like, right now, the big talking point is Ed Brubaker. So the reason I keep bringing him up, because Ed Brubaker, months ago, this was a conversation months ago, like, and it just kind of re-reared its head. Months ago, Ed Brubaker was talking about how he can't watch The Falcon and the Winter Soldier because every time he watches it, he feels, well, I don't know, he feels like, he said something like, I feel like I want to throw up because he's not getting any money from this. He's like, oh, and then he told this story about how he couldn't even get into the premiere, and he had to call Sebastian Stan to let him into the actual Winter Soldier premiere. All these different things like that. And but for the most part, the premiere stuff that's fucked up, and that shouldn't have happened. Ed Brubaker made the Winter Soldier. You guys have put him in the movie. You have his name as credited. You shouldn't, like, there's no way that man shouldn't have been invited to the goddamn premiere. I don't know how that would happen. But I digress. The reason he was really upset, and the reason that they're upset, is because they're not getting any of that money. But the problem with Ed Brubaker and others who might be upset is is that all of these people got hired to do a job. If you work for Marvel, when you go in to work on a Marvel or a DC project, you go in knowing that no matter what happens afterwards, I am paid to work on this project and it is theirs. It is not yours. Once you got paid and you did the project, it is no longer yours. Like, for example, if I paid a guy, I don't know, to make something for me, to like make a, if I paid someone to remodel my kitchen, and he comes in, he remodels my kitchen, I paid him to do that, and I start doing, and like all of a sudden, and I start hosting shows, and I start doing my YouTube channel in my kitchen, and people notice the kitchen, and people are like, man, this kitchen is well designed, this kitchen is beautiful, who designed this kitchen? And like, I get a bump in my YouTube subscriptions, and let's just hypothetically say I get millions of subscribers, and and all the subscribers like were like, hey man, your kitchen looks great, and like they talk about the kitchen, and all of a sudden, and do I then owe the guy who designed my kitchen money after the fact? No, you don't owe them money. Like, they did a job. And like, for me, I feel like this is an understood thing. It's the reason why guys like Todd McFarlane went off to do their own thing with Spawn and shit. It's the reason why companies like Dark Horse and Image exist, is so creators could go do their own goddamn thing. You know what I mean? That's why those companies exist. You don't make anything for Marvel and DC. You don't get to Monday Morning Quarterback. You don't get to 20 years later when something you made that you were having you had fun making, you made it, you got a good paycheck, you're happy. You don't get to come back 20 years later because miraculously it was made into a movie that made over $700 million. It's the same thing with the same thing's happening outside of the comic book world with the Predator, with the creator of Predator. Now, Predator coming back and like trying to sue for the rights to the film franchise, something that like, it's like, bro, you've been so detached from the film franchise. It's like, what? Like, you sold us this idea, and you're like, I want it back now because it's popular. What? This isn't a situation like back in the day with Superman where, you know, goddamn, I believe it was Siegel. I believe Simon and Siegel? I know one of them last name was Siegel. Whatever. The two guys who created Superman. This isn't that situation where like the two guys who created Superman where they got screwed over. This isn't that situation. He signed a contract. He got paid. He created this book. It was such a big popular book that many years later, 20 years later when the MCU freaking happened, which no one knew that would happen, they made a movie out of it, perhaps the best movie in the MCU out of it, and they credited you. They put you in the movie, they credited you as the creator of it. That's the only, to me personally, that's the only thing. Not just a Marvel or DC. That is the only fucking thing they owe these creators, is to credit them for creating it. That's it. You're not owed a paycheck. Your paycheck happened when you created the damn thing. Like, I just don't understand why people can't get that. Why are people having a hard time wrapping their minds around that? You know why? Like I said, that's the right comics companies like Image and Dark Horse exist, so creators can create their own shit and keep it. You know, or if you're a great enough creator like Mark, I believe it's Millar, with his Millar world, with fucking like, Kick-Ass and shit. If you're great enough, you can have your own goddamn world where you just can cherry pick the artists you want to work with. But if you work for Marvel and DC, you don't own a damn thing, and they don't owe you a damn thing. That's just how it works. That's just how it works. That's how it's always been. I don't quite get it. It's no different than any other business transaction. You can't just come back years later now that it's blown up and you're not doing anything. Because I think it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm pretty sure none of this would be a big deal if these artists were out still doing things. They're still doing, like you haven't heard anything from Hickman. You know what I mean? You haven't heard anything from some of the bigger artists and like writers. You haven't heard anything from those guys. They got other shit to do. But I digress. I wanted to talk about this with something. I want to talk about this because when it came up even months ago, I wanted to talk about it and just go, it doesn't matter. But but now that it done come up again, it's come up again, and now it's being talked about by more people. I figured I'd talk about it. Yes, I understand how some people could feel. Power to the creators, because without them, this wouldn't be possible. But at the same time, it's not as if it's like, okay, it's like without you guys, we wouldn't have had this inspiration. But it's not like people were reading but it's not like the inspiration was lighting the world on fire. It's not like it's Harry Potter or some shit, you know what I mean? It's not like it's a best-selling, it's not like Winter Soldier, Ed Brubaker's Winter Soldier was this cultural event, this cultural selling comic book event where everyone knew who wrote it and everyone was reading it. No, man, it was a comic book that the comic book people were reading, and that is an excellent comic book that got turned into a movie many, many years later. But it ain't like it was that big of a deal before. Look, I love Black Panther, the movie and the character. But before the movie, ain't nobody, like, only us comic book people knew who Black Panther was. I knew Black Panther was a bad motherfucker who could fuck up Batman on any given Sunday. But nobody else knew that until the movie came out. So it's not like these things, so you know what I mean? It's not like if you knew that while you were working on the project, you would have asked for more money. But you didn't, and they didn't. So you can't Monday morning, like I said, you can't Monday morning quarterback these things. You signed a contract, and as one of my favorite people always says, you get what's the phrasing of it? You get what you negotiate. You don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. And unfortunately for you, you didn't know what you had when you went to work for Marvel. Otherwise, you probably would have just went somewhere else and did it by yourself. But anyways, thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show. Please like, subscribe. And where do you fall on this argument? Do you believe that it's owed to companies like Marvel and DC and the bigger brands to pay those creators more money, to give those creators more money, like automatically, they deserve more? Like, give them millions of dollars. They deserve more. They deserve more respect. Or are you like me, where it's like, look, the only thing you're owed is us telling people that you made this, you came up with this idea. That's it. Oh, he's putting your name, crediting you, telling people you came up with the idea. That is it. Other than that, you did a job and got paid, man. If that's how it's gonna go, then good Lord, how many situations could this apply to? You know what I mean? I'm like, what? Anyways, thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show again. Please like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Goodbye.